Hello everyone and welcome to Math 1314 online section 0081. My name's Terry Barnes and I'll be helping you through the semester on our journey through college algebra. I wanted to take just a few minutes in this video to help you get started and for you to understand how the course is set up and what the expectations are. So hopefully you have seen this initial announcement here and that you've clicked here and gotten the registration notes to log in and make everything sync up. We have a new system in place with our publisher, and so we've been hard at work trying to get all that set up. So I'm hopeful that that is all going to work with you. Right now, I just want to show you how everything is set up. So right here will be your announcements, and there'll be announcements every probably Saturday or Sunday. There'll be something there, and then it could be some other time if something needs to be shared. Course content is here as well as up here, but most things that I would use will be right here. Up here, you won't see this link in yours, but I couldn't go into student view with our new system because these would not be active for me. So you won't see this, but everything else should look the same. So let's look at some of the items in content. So schedule and office hours, if you click on that, it'll tell you when my office hours are. Of course, you're online. If you happen to be on campus and it's my office hours, come visit with me, let me meet you, that sort of thing. Or if you need to meet a specific time and you want to try to set that up, if I'm not on campus, we could totally Zoom if we needed to. So that is there. The calendar, let's look at the calendar and talk about this. So, not everything is available at the beginning. So as of today, or at the beginning, whenever you log in, the things that are available right away will be chapter 1, 2, and 3. So you can see all the homework and the tests for chapter 1, 2, and 3 are available at the beginning. They are due September 30th. So keep that in mind. It's not that you can wait and do a chunk later. You need to have this done, all of this top part, by September 30th. The one thing up here, the calculator unit, is available at the beginning. It is ultimately due November 30th, so you have some time on that. But this first part is due the September 30th. And then at that point, this chapter 4 will open up. And so it will be available September 28th. So all of chapter 4, and it will be due at the end of October. And you'll have the homework and the test for chapter 4 that will then show up. After that, week 10, chapter 5, which is kind of long, and chapter 6, which is short and calculator driven, but all of that will show up October 26th and be due November 29th. These two tests are on December 5th, chapter 5 and chapter 6. So you need to finish the homework by the 29th and do that. If you don't, you can just you could print this or just pull it up and remind yourself. The dates will be on screen as well. The final exam will open November 30th and be due ultimately December 10th. So that's not going to be open until towards the end. So that's the way I have that organized. If you have any questions about that, let me know. All right, let's go back over here. I had gone down. Let's go to instructor plan and look at this. This is the syllabus. We're not going to read all of this, but we are going to look at a couple of things. So if we go down here, that also has my office hours. I'm on campus Tuesday through Thursday, and so on Tuesday from 12 to 3, I am in my office, and I'm in there in the mornings 7 to 8 both days. Down here, a reminder that you didn't have to buy a separate book. The online book is included. You do need a TI 8384 graphing calculator. This is an 84 CE plus, but if you just have an older TI 83 or 84, that would work as well. All right, if we go down here, do read this, but I'm kind of going through this quick in the orientation. Course attendance and participation guidelines. So it says you are not to be absent more than 25% in this course. And so I check attendance weekly. We have 16 weeks in an online course. And for you to be counted present, you have to have worked on something during that week. If you opened up a homework, if you opened a test, if you got online and did anything as far as work, you didn't have to complete it, but if you worked, you're counted present. If you miss more than 4 weeks, if you are absent more than 4 weeks, you could be dropped on that 5th absence. So it's pretty easy to avoid that. Just make sure you're working on something each week. This is the older that just ignore that. That's been replaced in that syllabus. So homework, there is 30% of your total average. You can work on the homework as many times as you want until it is due. Once it's due, then it's going to close. So make sure you're working, staying up, and staying current so that you get all of your homework done. But you can work each one as many times as you need to try to get 100. You can work it 3 times before you have to get a new question. Tests, there are 5 chapter tests, and those are 50% of your average. There's 6, so sorry. There are 5 to 6 depending, but there are 6 in yours. Before each test is available, either face-to-face or online, you have to have passed all the homework, meaning you've got to have a 70%. A score of 0 will be assigned to that test if you don't meet that. So don't let that slide. Work on your homework, make sure they're at least passing, and then you can meet that test deadline. So don't let that go by you. Final exam is required, and it's 20% of your final average. It does cover everything. I think that is it. We've talked about my online course, how I do it. I'll check it. It does go from Sunday to Saturday. You should have activity each week. I talked about that, and I'll run the report on Sundays to determine who didn't do anything. You'll receive an email saying you're on that report and you have an absence. So it should not be a surprise to you. Let's make sure we take care of everything. All right, let's go look at the next thing. Okay, there are some handouts here. I would say to print or at least have access to this all the time. If you use a TI Inspire, I have a document here that I created. So some of the things that we do, you might not have learned how to do on the Inspire, and they should be here. But the yellow packet, that I call it because I printed on yellow for my face-to-face class, has formulas, a lot of information, financial growth. When we start doing money, there's some stuff about the formulas and how to do it on the finance app, notation chart, helpful hints for the 83, special functions and how to do those. Just a bunch of stuff. Regression, that's important. And then matrices, that's chapter 6. And chart of powers, and then this is on chapter 5, the last section. So I would say it would be worthwhile, if you have access to a printer, to print that, and you could refer to it whether you're doing your homework or a test, because I do let my students have that during a test. It's a reference. It has formulas. So think about that and maybe print that for yourself. If you are not familiar with the calculator, you may need to click here on Calculator Help, And at the top, there are some phone apps if you can't afford or just can't get a calculator right now. I think this one has both of them. If you have an Android, check here, iPhone here. There's another one. So there are some really good apps that would work for you. So keep that in mind. Let's go back. Okay, so we looked at that. If you don't know how to do much of anything on the calculator, there are some worksheets and videos here. So if you click that, there is a calculator help video playlist. You could go look at those. And these worksheets, how do you find the correct window? How do you find intercepts? How do you find a max or a min? Solving an equation, solving an inequality. There are worksheets that you could work on, and that would really give you some help. Now, if we went back, let me get back to that. So there are videos with the worksheets worked out, so that would be helpful. Then there's a calculator exam review, because that's the only thing that I'm gonna grade, or we're gonna do. The others, all those worksheets and everything, those are just for you and for your benefit. But you do have to take a calculator exam. That was on the calendar, and it here's the review. Let me click on that. Looks like this, and you would assume that you were doing all that on the calculator. It has the answers underneath the questions, so you could just practice there. But if we went back here, that was the blank one. This is a video, and it's a YouTube video of me doing that whole review, so you can just go along with it. So keep that in mind. That's something you're going to want to do before you try that calculator test, and just to get prepared for that. All right, so let's go back to here. We've done calculator help, we've done handouts. When it gets time closer to the final exam review, this is here and we'll talk about it. So that's that. Let's go to the big thing, problem sets, lecture notes, videos. Let's go there. You have a set of problems for every chapter. So let's look at chapter 1 and 2, the very first section, and we click that. So you've got some blank problems that are going to prepare you for the homework, okay? And there are, in this one, there are 12 questions. Okay, so if we do that, let's go look at what the other part would be. So you've looked at the problem set, you're not sure about them, you don't know how to do some of that. Let's go to the lecture notes. Same idea, you'll go to chapter 1 and 2, we'll go to 1.3, and these lecture notes come up. This is what if you were in my face-to-face, we'd be doing this on the screen, and this goes through the information, and when we eventually get down to here, there's that blank set of problems, but now the answers are there and the work might be there. So for some people, that's going to be enough and they'll be able to figure some of that out. But most people need a little bit more than just seeing the answers. So we would go back to the main screen, and we have lecture videos. And if you go there and go to the 1 and 2 playlist, you can see there is a video for each section, 1.3, 1.4, and then the 4 from chapter 2. And so it's my YouTube channel for college algebra. You would hit this, you'll go to the YouTube video, and it's me working through those problems. So now you've got a blank set, you've got the lecture notes about it, and you've got a video showing you. After you've done that, you're ready to do the homework. Now, it may not take you to do all 3 things, but maybe it does. Everything's there for you. That's the point. All right. So let's now assume that you have gone through and looked at the problem set for 1.3 with the lecture and with the video, and now you're ready to do your homework. So you will click here, Student MML Homework and Tests, and your homework and test should come up. All right, now you can see this calculator test is going to show up because it's available right away, and it is not ultimately due till November 30th. You'll also note that you have 90 minutes to do it, and you have infinite numbers of times to take it. The higher grade's going to always count. So take that calculator test as many times as you need to get 100, because it counts as much as the others. You can just take it over and over. You'll note that the rest of these are Chapter 1 and 2. Here's the test for Chapter 1 and 2. Here's Chapter 3 and the test for Chapter 3. Everything is due September 30th at 11:59 p.m. So that's your first goal, is to start working and get through these, okay? I think that's doable. You have enough time. Chapter 1 and 2, you'll note the flag here says you have to get a 70 on all of those Chapter 1 and 2 homeworks. That's a reminder. It will not open unless you do that. It also tells you you have 2 hours in which to take that test, and that you have 2 tries. So that means first time you take it, it's like a review. Do I know it? Am I going to be okay? Maybe so, maybe not. If you take it the first time and you don't make what you want, you can go back and review it in the grade book. Review what you did, why you got it wrong, what the correct answer was, all of that you can find out. Then you can study more and take it a second time. The higher of the grades counts in your average. And you would do the same thing here with Chapter 3, and you get 2 tries on that one. Due dates over here, time shows here, and you'll review them in the grade book. But let's look at one of these, just for anybody that hasn't been in Pearson before. Remember our lecture notes and our problem set, there were 12 questions. They don't always match identically, but they're pretty close usually. So let me just pick a question. I'm just going to pick number 6. I don't know what that's going to be, but let's just see. That's really not the one I want to look at. Let's go, yes, I want to leave. Okay. So let's go to number 2. Express this in interval notation, and you would have studied that in your Chapter 1.3 stuff. And it says type it in interval notation. And you're going to click in that box. When you do, you'll note these icons come up here. So if you need parentheses for your interval notation, or if you need a fraction or mixed number, any of that, they'll be there, and there's some more. Once you get to matrices, there's some of these buttons. So there's lots of stuff down here that could help you, but it won't show up till you click in there. All right, what I want to do is just put some stuff there. All right, I just clicked some stuff, and I'm going to hit check my answer. And it gives you some info, and you say, okay, all right, I don't really know what my answer should be. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to try that. Still didn't get it right. And now down here, and you may not can see that right there, but it says final check. So if I don't change that and I do the final check, incorrect. It says my correct answer is this, and what I put was there. If you wanted to work on Skill Builder, you could. I'm not, I mean, that's just some practice stuff. But if I close out of that, now I've missed that question. At the bottom, I could hit the Skill Builder to practice, or I can just go ahead and get another question. If I hit similar question, I get it again with different numbers. So that's important. The other thing to note here is down here, you can hit view an example, but you would have already probably had one in my lecture notes. But if you need another one, you could do that. But when you have a question about homework, please use this option. Hit click, get more help, and ask my instructor. It's going to send me your exact question. In here, you can type and say, I've tried this, I don't understand that, whatever you want to say. You'll send it to me, and it will come directly to me. It'll have your name on it, and I'll know what question you're talking about. You won't have to copy the question or anything, but that's the best way for me to help you with your homework. And again, you can do these over and over again, 3 tries, and then you have to get a new question. And if you don't like your grade at the end of what you've done, you can go back and work on it again. You can come back and redo number 2 if you didn't get it then. You can hit save and you're done. And when you are through later on, if you want to come back and work on number 2, you could. Okay? So, I said review it in the grade book. So if you hit your student grade book, you may have to hit another window, but it should come up. So this shows me, because I was working that like I was a student, right here, and how much time I spent, when I did it, and then I can review it. That's the same thing for a test. So if there's a test that you took, you can hit the review and go in and look at your test and what happened. You'll note that over here, it shows I've worked on 1 homework out of 30. So I have 30 homeworks, 1 quiz, which is the final exam, and 6 chapter tests. So there's a total of 37 things to get done over the semester. So your grade book will always be updated for you. So I think that is the majority of the information. Certainly if you have questions, email me and I will try to answer them. If you need the book for some reason, you do have an e-text here, so you can go right in and look at the book actually. So keep that in mind, and I think we'll have a great semester. I look forward to working with you.